Welcome to Sovereign Temples for this new dark moon in Gemini, where we are also heading into summer solstice within this current moon cycle. And during this dark moon in Gemini, it is a perfect time to come into balance in terms of our thoughts and the way that we're constantly maybe judging ourselves or needing to label something as, well, this is good, this is bad, based on duality. As the Gemini really representing dual aspects and two, and thinking of two polar opposites, just like the feminine and the masculine can come together and create a unified whole, right? A lot of times in tantric practices, we think that it's about this tantric with another, but truly it's about merging the divine feminine and the divine masculine within you, and you create your Horus, the innocent inner aspect of you that remembers it is one with everything, and that it is the duality that allows us to have this dance. And I've also really been thinking lately about the dualistic idea of where we think any type of security, safety comes from, survival. And during this incredible time of Gemini, representing these polar opposites, that is really what this exploration is going to be about when we call upon our higher selves. This does not have to be a meditation. You do not have to experience anything. The intention behind this is for you to create space, to be willing. One who is willing automatically elevates themselves in vibration. If you've ever studied the map of consciousness, you'll see where a state of willingness transcends a lot of the frequencies that are vibrating at a slower rate that can sometimes feel uncomfortable, especially if you have had peak higher vibrational experiences when you are oscillating a lot slower without being able to simply be a witness to the slower oscillation versus getting in our head that something's wrong, this isn't right. It can feel very uncomfortable, depression, stagnation, all of those things. But one who has surrendered to knowing that this is an ascending and descending, right? What are those? Polar opposite dance that we have entered into through our own free will in being human. And it is time to lay down the constant war within from being at war with polar opposites versus embracing two opposites coming together to create a unified whole. And so that is my intention behind creating this exploration space for you to go inward and look at any parts of you that maybe you feel are less whole, or, I love what a mentor of mine says is a shadow is simply any part of yourself that you cannot accept. So maybe you're on a spiritual journey, but you like to do things that are quote unquote unclassified as spiritual in the spiritual yogini community. And so you have all this noise and judgment around yourself. Why can't I get it together? Why am I not evolving faster? Blah, blah, blah. Why do I want to eat this? Why am I craving this? Why am I drinking this? The list goes on. Why am I not manifesting XYZ? I'm putting all this attention into, you name it. And as within, so without. So if some of that is a dialogue, and I can only speak to those things because I have moved through those things or am currently moving through those things. Oftentimes too, a lot of us don't feel like we can share our medicine until we have completely transmuted something, versus being willing and vulnerable to share what we're going through as worthy of right where we are in the moment where we are, and to be able to be witnessed in that, versus somebody who has it all together, or being seen as like, fill in the blank, whatever external validation or recognition that we feel like we need in order to be enough. And that is from really, again, labeling these certain parts of ourselves as parts that we cannot accept. And so then we go into punishment, we go into guilt, we go into shame, we go into judgment. And when you judge something, you find it guilty and the need to punish. And so then that self-sabotage will circle again and again, because you feel that that part of you that is quote unquote polar opposite of maybe the enlightened part, the spiritual part, is not also enlightened or spiritual. And in truth, that is what enlightens us. And so to come back into that balance of simply within. And I feel like this is something that the collective, and maybe also because something I have recently really had revealed to me, it was a revelation through pain in my body. I'm really proud of myself for how much I listen to where pain is in my body, and getting still and quiet and going into a communion with my body and asking it what it wants to reveal to me. And it was talking about safety, security, and survival. And I think, well, I don't need that. Like, I have abundance. We do really well. Like, it automatically went to monetary. And I just want to put this out for anybody who has pain in their body. It is not something to condemn or think that something is going wrong on your spiritual path. It's actually your body being your bestie and letting you know that this is a part, there's a shadow that energetic chakra, right, part of light is organizing, and that we've kinked ourselves off from receiving that in that area, right, that then operates our physical body. And I'm not going to get into all the chakras and things, but if you have anywhere in your body, I'm using the root chakra for me as just an example, since it's something I went through, and it was that I have completely allowed myself to think that survival and security and safety comes from without, comes from what it is that I have, or my husband, what he's making, what I'm making in business. Do I need to make more? Like all of these things, even though it's, zero debt, have financial freedom in terms of really choice, all these things. But how was my body? It was so contracted in my lower spine, in my root area. And it was just revealed to me that, Casey, you are still cut off, because it doesn't matter. It was like, look at how much is external, how much external support you have, and yet you still are cutting yourself off from feeling courageous enough and safe enough to make huge changes that your heart has been asking you to change. Because if you make these changes, what if you lose all of that external that you think that that's where safety, security, and survival is coming from? And your heart and your higher self, you've been on this expansion journey, and so you're starting to expand, but you have so many viral programs running that are constricting you down there, that are saying it's not safe to expand this much, because it might shorten or it might cut off. You might lose some of the support and survival, for security and safety. And it was like, oh, okay. And so I just sat and I let that part of me that was constricting me, the past programming around when have I tried to expand before and really quantum leap, and then maybe a situation happened, an obstacle, or, that truly was a blessing when I really let myself, kick back and look at it from a big picture of what I learned. Oh, well, you didn't have boundaries in this area. You were really leaky with where you went. You took on way too much, right? So all of those things. So it's like in the expansion, it wasn't even necessarily about the money. It was me expanding, didn't feel safe from past experiences. And that is what the dualistic part is, right? So we think that if we stay small, nobody sees us, we don't change, we just keep the status quo, right? We're safe and we're secure. Nothing changes in how I'm running my businesses, where money's coming from, what have you. Right? And that is the lesson that I get to transcend. I don't have to judge myself for feeling that way. It's not like, well, you should be more enlightened. You know where XYZ comes from. All of your support comes from the Holy Mother and Holy Father. What are you even talking about? Right? So then your mind can even start going there as someone's on a spiritual journey. Well, why are you even thinking this? It's like, whoa. Calling upon compassion to extend to myself for why, when I have said yes to expanding in my life, but now all these contractions are happening and they have to be witnessed. They have to be really heard and honored. And I can't tell you the release that happened automatically in my back was something so profound. It was a miraculous healing in that moment of the letting go of the need to control. It's like I wasn't even trying to heal my back or to get it to release in that moment. My only intention was to be present to the feelings that were causing my body to contract so that I could witness, hear them, and offer compassion and say, I hear you. I know it can be scary, but let's remember that right now, and when you go inward into a inward communion, you remember that the safety is found in the sanctuary within. And that's why I'm such a fan of communion, right? Like we said, we can set an intention. Again, it doesn't matter if anything happens. The whole point is simply setting an intention and getting still and trusting when you invoke your higher self, that your higher self is offering you the transmission that will then make itself known in the present moment. Sometimes it can happen directly in the communion. Sometimes it's not until, and this is a prayer that I've been asking for, is like, what am I afraid of with expansion? And so eventually my back locked up. So in a communion prior, it was like the medicine was actually my back locking and then me doing another one, right? And so it's not about this instant, although it can be, and just remembering how securely connected we are. So, with the intention of communions and creating space, I just love to say, hey, I'm so securely connected to Source that I can go within and not even have an experience, anything, but I just know through the power of my intention that I'm connected to Source because I'm breathing. And I just focus on my breath. And all these crazy thoughts are going to come in. The parts of me that are like, you should be further along now. You shouldn't have these back contractions. How long have you been working on this? Blah, blah, blah. Right? But it's like, oh yeah, I am securely connected to the force that gives life to all things because I'm breathing. My heart is beating. And I just start to feel really secure in that. And then I just think of how supported I am effortlessly and how I have this Holy Mother that, would give her child her last breath, the last piece of food, right? And it's like, I have that type of support. I don't need to worry about all these things that society is saying. And that can be a challenge, especially if it is related to survival or rent or food on the table. But when we remember that survival, that we are an eternal soul and that we can never not survive. We can go through obstacles, challenges, but that we are fully supported. And it was like all of this that was showing to me, even through my expansion, right? If maybe, but again, a lot of the root chakra is associated with feeling the need of money. But I can tell you this, more money does not solve innate beliefs around survival being external, like from a source like money, dependent upon something outside of what we already have access to. And that is the intention of inner communion. So with all of that, and within this inner communion for this new moon, this dark, dark moon in Gemini, let us take a few deep breaths coming into our center. Just knowing that the dark is nothing to be afraid of. The shadow holds so much medicine. It is the shadow that allows light to be seen without darkness. We would not see the Milky Way. Oh, what a travesty that would be. Without the quote-unquote darkness that has been labeled as less than or bad, without the darkness that is holy and sacred within you, these bright light aspects within you would not be able to shine the way that the darkness allows them to shine. And in that dualistic idea, can we set the intention for this exploration with our higher selves to be an empty vessel for whatever offering our higher self has for us during this dark shadow moon, to accept whatever part of us that we have not been accepting, or that we think that if only it was different, or if I could get it from out there, then I could have it, and then I'll be happy when syndrome, I'll be whole when syndrome, I'll be spiritual enough, enlightened enough, successful enough, loved enough syndrome when something out there happens. And we are asking our higher selves in this moment to encapsulate us in its brilliant, dark light. This translucent black light that all light arises from, and to encapsulate us in this magnificent, sacred, holy part of the whole, this black light, this shimmering black light, this merkabic field. Just allowing yourself to see the space above you, sense the space below you, to the left of you, to the right of you, in front of you and behind you. You just sense this space simultaneously, and just see yourself cocooned in this magnificent darkness that is safe, that is always here to support you and nourish you, like a dark mother's womb that can nourish her growing baby effortlessly. No effort needed on the mother. Her body is so intelligent, it automatically gives the baby everything it needs. The baby need not ask. Just feeling securely held in this aspect of the divine. And taking a deep breath in, deep breath out. Just knowing any thoughts that come, honor them. Ask them if they need a microphone to be witnessed. And then lovingly extend them compassion. If you have any area in your body that has been lovingly communicating to you through sensations, stiffness, pain, just becoming aware to your body that is your loyal friend, that is gifting you with such intelligent information about programming that is out of alignment with the truth of who you are, but that it's still part of the whole human experience and nothing to judge or condemn. It is the ascending and descending dance. Just allowing these things to begin to make themselves known to you. Higher selves, we invoke you to offer us a transmission that we receive in the exact present moment to our conscious awareness around any shadow aspect within us that is ready to be lovingly witnessed, and we ask to be blessed with the remembrance that there is nothing to fix. And this shadow part of us, we are not trying to fix you, control you, manipulate you into changing. We simply want to witness and extend compassion. For any reason that our experiences in this lifetime or past lifetimes have caused us to feel unsafe, insecure, not supported, needing outside validation, external recognition. It is unsafe to speak our truth or to express our authentic self. Holy Mother, in your dark, empty womb space, offer us a transmission of the peacock medicine that is able to transmute any poison into medicine. And knowing that it is our free will choice on if we choose to use any experience for poison or medicine. And wrapping us in the dark peacock medicine, we surrender over these next few minutes for our higher self to reveal to us all the things that we may have been labeling as poison or operating programs and using it as poison against ourselves. Reveal to us the dual aspect and how we can transmute this into wholeness that allows us to carry compassion forward around this transmutation for all of humanity. Bless us, higher self, in the presence of the Holy Black Womb Mother's Medicine, with your divine wisdom for receiving the Dark Mother transmission. Breathing in, just basking in this medicine that you have offered yourself and the safety from your own inner sanctuary and feeling so securely connected and completely supported eternally in your soul survival. And that this is the foundation, and allowing ourselves to never fear the darkness, as in the darkness is an emptiness that is so spacious and that allows for infinite possibilities, miraculous healing, miraculous medicine to be had. Higher selves, Holy Dark Mother, we ask that you seal the transmissions that you offered to us for remembering the truth of polar opposites creating a unified whole, and that we need not be at war with these aspects within ourselves or within humanity. And we give thanks for this time in communion with you. And to our lunar moon, we thank you for this cycle upon us. And to our Father, Son, we thank you for the light of the summer solstice and the heat for those of us in the northern hemisphere. And for those in the southern hemisphere, the coolness of the winter solstice, and even Earth as she is right now, going through summer solstice and winter solstice, this moon cycle simultaneously. Complete polar opposites, creating a unified whole of Earth's magnificent, and being willing to accept that within ourselves and to know that there's a cycle and season for it all. Thank you, Holy Mother and Holy Father and higher selves, for this inner communion. My name is Casey Christine, and I want to thank you so much for joining me on this dark moon communion. If you experienced nothing, that is okay too. Water, water, water. Allow yourself to push your feet in the earth and drink blessed water. You have the power through your voice and the power of your intention to bless your water. And we will be back throughout this moon cycle with other amazing goodness. And I look forward to communing with each and every one of you in the near future, which is still right now. All my love and light. Namaste.